All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Valsa Williams and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Former President Pranab Mukherjee passes away, 7-day state mourning declared in his honour. Monsoon session of Parliament to commence from the 14th of this month. Unlock 4 guidelines for opening up more activities in COVID non-containment zones comes into force today. JEE main exam for admission to top engineering colleges in the country begins today. Students appearing for JEE and NEET exams allowed to travel in special suburban trains in Mumbai. Third Sero survey to find out prevalence of antibodies against coronavirus starts today in national capital, and India to receive development assistance loan worth 3,500 crore rupees from Japan to fight COVID-19. Former President of India and Bharat Ratna awardee Pranab Mukherjee passed away at the age of 84 after battling a long illness. The veteran leader breathed his last at the Army Hospital in New Delhi last evening. His son Abhijit Mukherjee took to Twitter and made the announcement. The medical condition of the former president declined yesterday after he went in septic shock due to lung infection. He was admitted to the hospital on the 10th of this month and was operated for removal of a clot in the brain. The nation is mourning the loss of the seasoned statesman. Pranab Mukherjee served as the 13th President of India from 2012 to 2017. Here is a tribute.
A man of humble origins, Pranab Mukherjee was born in a small village Mirati in Birbhum district of West Bengal as son of freedom fighters Kamda Kinkar Mukherjee and Rajalakshmi. He acquired a master's degree in history and political science as well as a degree in law from the University of Kolkata. He then embarked on his professional life as a college teacher and journalist. Inspired by his father's contribution to the national movement, Mr. Mukherjee in 1969 plunged into full-time public life following his election to Upper House of the Parliament. Under the mentoring of late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, Mr. Mukherjee's rise in his political career was rapid. He served as Union Minister of Finance, Defence, External Affairs and Commerce. Mr. Mukherjee was also Deputy Chairman of Planning Commission. He was elected to Rajya Sabha 5 times and twice to Lok Sabha. Mr. Mukherjee served as leader of both houses of Parliament. He had extensive diplomatic experience and served on the Board of Governors of the IMF, World Bank, Asian Development Bank and African Development Bank. Mr. Mukherjee was instrumental in spearheading critical decisions of the government on a range of issues such as administrative reforms, right to information, right to employment, food security, energy security, information technology and telecommunication, and setting up UIDAI. He was a member of the Congress Working Committee, the highest policy-making body of the party, for a period of 23 years.
President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed grief at the demise of the veteran leader. President Kovind said the demise of Pranab Mukherjee is the passing of an era. Mr. Kovind said a colossus in public life, the former president served Mother India with the spirit of a sage. President Kovind said the nation mourns losing one of its worthiest sons. The Vice President said the country has lost an elder statesman in Pranab Mukherjee's death. He rose from a humble beginning to occupy the country's highest constitutional position through hard work, discipline and dedication. Mr. Naidu said Pranab Mukherjee brought dignity and decorum to every post held by him during his long and distinguished public service. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Pranab Mukherjee has left an indelible mark on the development trajectory of the nation. A scholar par excellence, a towering statesman, Pranab Mukherjee was admired across the political spectrum and by all sections of society. The Prime Minister recalled that during his political career that spanned decades, Pranab Mukherjee made long-lasting contributions in key economic and strategic ministries.
एक भी मेरी मुलाकात पिछले 3 साल में राष्ट्रपति जी के साथ ऐसी नहीं रही जिसमें उन्होंने पिता की तरह, और मैं बहुत अंतर्मन से कह रहा हूं, कोई पिता अपने संतान की जैसे देखभाल करे, ये राष्ट्रपति के दायित्व का हिस्सा नहीं था, लेकिन उनके भीतर का इंसान अपने एक साथी की चिंता है। और मैं मानता हूं कि ये व्यक्तित्व, ये संबंध, ये रूप राष्ट्र जीवन के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा हम जैसे लोगों को प्रेरणा देने वाला काम होता है, और वो काम प्रणव दा ने किया है।
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said Pranab Mukherjee, in his more than 5-decade-long public life, served the nation with exemplary dedication. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha conveyed his heartfelt condolences on the sad demise of the former president. Andhra Pradesh Governor Biswa Bhushan Harichandan paid rich tributes to Pranab Mukherjee. Governor Harichandan said Mr. Mukherjee rendered over 5 decades of exemplary service to the nation in government as well as parliament. As a mark of respect to former President Pranab Mukherjee, 7-day state mourning is being observed throughout India till the 6th of September. During the period of state mourning, the national flag will fly at half-mast on all buildings throughout India where it is flown regularly, and there will be no official entertainment.
As a mark of respect to former President Pranab Mukherjee, Nagaland government has declared 7-day state mourning throughout the state from 31st September till August the 6th. During the period of state mourning, the national flag will fly at half-mast on all buildings throughout the state where it is flown regularly, and there will be no official entertainment. Several political leaders and prominent people from all walks of life mourn the loss of political stalwart. In a tweet, Home Minister Amit Shah said the former president was a vastly experienced leader who served the nation with utmost devotion. Expressing grief, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said Pranab Da epitomized simplicity, honesty and strength of character, and he served the country with diligence and dedication. Mr. Singh said Pranab Mukherjee's demise is a personal loss. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said the country has lost one of its finest sons, Bharat Ratna Pranab Mukherjee. BJP President JP Nadda said a statesman, Mukherjee served the country in many roles with diligence and determination, and he is widely admired across parties for his intellect and perseverance. Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said, with great sadness, the nation receives the news of the unfortunate demise of former President. Mr. Gandhi said he joins the country in paying homage to him. World leaders too have expressed grief on demise of former President Pranab Mukherjee. Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli said in his demise, the Himalayan nation has lost a great friend. He said people of Nepal remember his contributions in strengthening Nepal-India relations in different capacities of his public life. Sri Lanka Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said Pranab Mukherjee was a statesman par excellence, a writer and a man loved by all. He said the passion with which he served his nation is unparalleled.
The monsoon session of Parliament will begin from the 14th of this month and continue till October the 1st. A notification issued by Lok Sabha Secretariat said that President Ramnath Kovind has called the lower house of Parliament to meet on Monday, the 14th of September at 9 a.m. Rajya Sabha will also meet at a different time on the same day, as it has been decided to stagger the sitting of the two houses due to the COVID-19 guidelines. The Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs had earlier recommended that Parliament's monsoon session be held from the 14th of September to the 1st of October. Hectic preparations are underway for the session, with several first-time measures because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The measures include testing of all MPs, staggered sitting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and use of both chambers and galleries to accommodate members while following physical distancing norms. The Joint Entrance Examination JEE Main for admission to top engineering colleges in the country will commence today with unprecedented preparations. About 9.58 lakh aspirants have registered for the exam to be conducted from the 1st to the 6th of September across 660 centres. Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh governments have arranged free transportation for candidates. A group of IIT alumni and students have also launched a portal to provide transport facility to exam centres for needy aspirants. Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has appealed to Chief Ministers to support the candidates. Director General of National Testing Agency Vineet Joshi said a comprehensive standard operating procedure for the candidates and centre staff has been put in place to ensure social distancing and secured delivery of the test.
Students appearing for JEE and NEET exams have been allowed to travel by special suburban services over Mumbai's suburban network of Central and Western Railways. Our correspondent reports the move will benefit over 50,000 students residing in Mumbai and its nearby areas to reach the exams safely and on time.
The statement said that admit card of candidates appearing for JEE and NEET will be considered as authority to enter suburban stations with companions on exam days. It said additional booking counters will be opened at important railway stations and frequency of suburban services will be increased. Meanwhile, phase-wise opening of restrictions under Mission Begin Again kicks off tomorrow in state. All non-essential shops will continue to operate as per relaxations and guidelines issued from time to time. Liquor shops to stay open. However, schools, colleges and coaching institutes will remain closed till September 30, 2020, while cinema halls, entertainment parks, international air travel, except for those permitted by MHA, Metro Rail, social, political and religious gatherings stay prohibited across state. Sonali Ghadiyar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
Railways has appealed that except for essential category staff and students with companion appearing in JEE and NEET exams, others are requested not to rush to the stations. District Magistrate of Lucknow, Abhishek Prakash, said that all necessary arrangements are in place for complete adherence to social distancing in view of JEE and NEET exams. Students have to wear masks and sanitization of the examination centers will take place before every shift. JEE exam will be held at 9 centers of Lucknow between 1st to 6th of September.
News just in, the mortal remains of former President Pranab Mukherjee will reach his residence 10 Rajaji Marg at around 9 a.m. from the Army Hospital. Official dignitaries will pay homage from 9:15 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Other dignitaries will pay tribute from 10:15 a.m. to 11 a.m. General public will pay homage from 11 a.m. Due to requirement of following social distancing norms and other COVID-related protocols, the mortal remains of the former president will proceed in a hearse van instead of a normal gun carriage. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has said India Post has provided cash to the tune of 629 crore rupees at the doorsteps, of which 447 crore rupees were provided to 32 lakh people through Aadhaar-enabled payments system during the lockdown. Mr. Prasad said 60,000 food packets were distributed by the Postal Department in Bihar and over 1 lakh in India. The Postal Department has delivered 10,133 tons of medicines, besides ventilators and personal protective equipment kits across the country. Mr. Prasad was speaking at the inauguration and foundation stone-laying ceremony via video conferencing for various projects of Bihar Circle yesterday. Madhubani painting is a popular art form in Bihar. While people are also engaged in button-making business, the Postal Department will promote such small products with the help of post offices. He asked the MPs, MLAs and MLCs to provide the list of popular products of their respective regions. The minister said small artists, entrepreneurs and small manufacturing units would get a boost as the Postal Department would provide them a platform to promote and transport their products across the country. The CBI questioned actress Rhea Chakraborty and her brother Shawik for more than 8 hours yesterday in connection with the Sushant Singh Rajput death case. This was the 4th straight day of questioning of the 28-year-old actress accused of abetting the suicide of Rajput, who was found hanging in his flat in suburban Bandra on June the 14th. The actress and her brother were questioned at the DRDO guest house in suburban Kalina, where the probe team of the Central Bureau of Investigation is stationed.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Former President Pranab Mukherjee passes away. 7-day state mourning declared in his honour. The monsoon session of Parliament to commence from 14th of this month. Unlock 4 guidelines for opening up more activities in COVID non-containment zones come into force today. JEE main exam for admission to top engineering colleges in the country begins today. Students appearing for JEE and NEET exams allowed to travel in special suburban trains in Mumbai. Third Sero survey to find out prevalence of antibodies against coronavirus starts today in the national capital, and India to receive development assistance loan worth 3,500 crore rupees from Japan to fight COVID-19. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The guidelines issued by the government for Unlock 4 will come into force today. It will remain in force till September the 30th. The Home Ministry on Saturday issued new guidelines for opening up of more activities in areas outside containment zones as part of Unlock 4. According to the guidelines, metro services across the country will resume from September the 7th, while schools and colleges will remain shut. The centre has also allowed religious, political, social and sports congregations with 100 people to take place from September the 21st with the mandatory wearing of face masks and social distancing. International air travel except as permitted by the government will remain suspended. There shall also be no restriction on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods, including those for cross-land border trade under treaties with neighbouring countries. No separate permission or e-permit will be required for such movements. States and union territories have been asked not to impose any lockdown outside the containment zones without prior consultation with the central government. The Andaman and Nicobar administration has provided many relaxations outside containment zones under Unlock 4. All commercial activities like shops, private offices, workplaces and markets are now allowed to open. However, their timings have been fixed from 8:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening. In Nicobar district, shops are allowed to open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Petrol pumps, hotels and restaurants, private clinics, nursing homes, ATMs and medical stores will remain functional till 9:30 in the evening. Auto, taxi, jeep and state transport buses will be operating from today.
In Tamil Nadu, public transport within the districts resumed today, though travel from one district to the other continues to be restricted. A series of orders specifying the relaxations under the Unlock 4 have been issued by the state government yesterday. It restricts the invitees for a marriage function to 50. Meanwhile, the total COVID infection in Tamil Nadu has crossed 4,28,000 with 5,956 new cases reported yesterday. A startup incubated in the Madras IIT has launched a nanomaterial against the virus causing COVID-19. It says the nanoparticles inactivate the virus when it comes in contact with the garments coated with them. More details on this from our correspondent.
The elusive SARS-CoV-2 virus has seemingly got a trap in the form of a nanoparticle coating over the dress material. They have been developed in the spirit of the Atmanirbhar Bharat and the Make in India initiative by a tech startup incubated in Madras IIT. Once the virus and a range of other pathogens come in contact with the coating, they get inactivated in 5 minutes. The startup says its product lasts for up to 60 washes and can be coated over any kind of dress. The coating can also be applied over face masks, PPE kits and packing materials. However, it is in no way a complete solution to ward off the virus, and therefore wearing masks and social distancing is a must. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Karnataka, 6,495 new COVID-19 positive cases were reported yesterday, taking the tally to 3,42,423. So far, 2,49,467 people have recovered from COVID-19. The state conducted 43,132 COVID tests yesterday, and the total number of tests conducted so far have risen to 28,95,807.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 87%, which is 11% more than the national average. Less than 2,000 COVID-19 cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The number of recovered patients exceeded the fresh cases. 1,324 positive cases were reported, while 2,267 patients recovered. 6 deaths were reported from various districts, taking the total figures to 694 in the state. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has said the state is now facing a bigger challenge of asymptomatic COVID patients, and it can only be dealt with through more intense contact tracing and testing. He was speaking at the launch of 13 new biosafety second-generation testing labs in the state through video conferencing yesterday.
In Gujarat, 1,280 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded during the last 24 hours. 1,025 patients were discharged from hospitals after recovery. A report.
More than 23,31,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date, out of which 66,363 tests were carried out yesterday. Total cases of COVID-19 in the state have gone up to 96,425. At present, 15,631 active cases in the state, out of which 79 patients are on ventilator. At the other end, 1,025 patients have been discharged from various hospitals after recovery. With these, the total patients recovered from COVID-19 have gone up to 77,782. 14 patients have lost their lives yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 in the state up to 3,022. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
The third round of monthly seroprevalence survey in the national capital will begin today. The sample size this time is likely to be about 17,000. The last seroprevalence survey was held from 1st to 7th August, according to which antibodies against COVID-19 infection were found in 29.1% of people surveyed in the national capital. Delhi Health Minister Sitendra Jain, while announcing the results of the August survey, had told that 15,000 representative samples were taken from 11 districts and next exercise to begin from 1st of September. The minister had informed that prevalence of antibodies found in men was 28.3% and 32.2% in women. Seroprevalence of antibodies found in age groups of less than 18 was 34.7%, in 18 to 50 years 28.5% and 31.2% in 50 years and above.
The Health Ministry today said that average daily recovered cases week-wise have grown 4 times from 15,000 in the first week of July to 61,700 in the last week of August. In a tweet, the ministry said the steep rise in COVID-19 recoveries indicates that India's collaborative, graded and evolving response strategy has borne results. Japan has committed an official development assistance loan of 3,500 crore rupees for the COVID-19 crisis emergency response support. The notes were exchanged between Additional Secretary in the Department of Economic Affairs, Dr. C.S. Mohapatra, and Ambassador of Japan to India, Suzuki Satoshi, for a health sector program loan to fight the COVID-19 crisis. Subsequent to the exchange of notes, loan agreement for the program loan was signed between Dr. Mohapatra and Chief Representative of JICA in New Delhi, Katsuo Matsumoto. Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, is a governmental agency that coordinates official development assistance for the government of Japan. This program loan aims to support India's efforts in fighting COVID-19 and to prepare the health system to manage future epidemics and also to improve the resilience of India's health systems against infectious diseases.
Following the appeal of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to become self-reliant in various businesses including toys, the Madhya Pradesh government has started initiatives in this direction. State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Minister Om Prakash Saklecha said that the state government is trying to woo investments and to reduce imports from China. Our correspondent has more details on this.
Minister Shri Saklecha said yesterday that toys, furniture, electric appliances and pharmaceutical manufacturing units would be encouraged in the state. Meanwhile, the MP government is also working on a plan to revive the state's 1,000 sick units which have been shut down due to financial crisis, production technology, market factors, labor issues and other reasons, and now their owners want to resume the work. The state government is also discussing with the DRDO to organize a grand seminar in Indore or Bhopal in the next 45 days. Mr. Saklecha said that the state government is also trying to woo investment in defense production. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
The News Services Division of All India Radio is starting a new series on Gandhian philosophy from today. Father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi is recognized as a symbol of truth and non-violence. The term non-violence is almost synonymous with the name of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji also adopted notions of non-violence as a philosophy and an ideal way of life. A report.
According to Mahatma Gandhi, people practice passive violence in daily affairs, either consciously or unconsciously. It is this form of violence that goes on to fuel physical violence. Gandhiji's understanding of violence comes from the Sanskrit root himsa, which means injury, while his understanding of non-violence came from the word ahimsa. Gandhiji translated ahimsa as love and believed that a person is indeed blessed if he or she can perceive the law of ahimsa even in the midst of the raging fire of himsa. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
The culture of the people of Punjab is supposed to be one of the oldest and richest cultures of the world, which has a very great history and complexity. The culture of the Punjabis shows its diversity and rich cultural heritage, which includes different fields like philosophy, poetry, spirituality, education, artistry, warfare, architecture, traditional values and history. More from our correspondent.
The Sikh art and culture is synonymous with that of the Punjab region. The Punjab itself has been called India's melting pot due to the confluence of invading culture. The states of Andhra Pradesh and Punjab share many similarities, and both the states learn a lot from each other by mutual interaction centered on knowing about each other's culture, history and tradition. Like several folk dances in Andhra Pradesh, there are good number of folk dances in Punjab, each with their own colorful history and unique style. Har Mohinder Singh Sahni, a social worker and senior citizen from Punjab who resides in Vijayawada, says,
in Andhra Pradesh, we people celebrate Bhogi festival. In Bhogi festival, early morning, we people gather the wood and put a wood fire in the open place, and it is worship. Whereas in Punjab, it is called Lohri festival. Evening time, the people of the area, they gather together and they put a very big bonfire, and the newly wedded couples along with the newly born daughters and sons of those, they take a parikrama around the fire goddess, as well as they distribute variety of sweets on this particular day. It is celebrated in the evening hours in Punjab, whereas it is celebrated in the early morning hours in Andhra Pradesh.
Yes, there are so many similarities between Andhra Pradesh and Punjab states. Dr. G. Kondalrao, AIR Vijayawada.
The India Meteorological Department has said India received 27% more rainfall than normal in August, the fourth highest amount in the last 120 years and highest in 44 years. The overall rainfall recorded in India from June the 1st to August 31st was 10% more than normal.
Now a look at today's weather update. The national capital Delhi may experience generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature was recorded at 26 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 43 degrees. In Gilgit, minimum temperature was recorded at 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 29 degrees, mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Muzaffarabad may have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. China provokes again, tries to alter status quo, is the lead in the Hindustan Times. Army blocks land grab by Chinese PLA at Pangong, headlines the Asian Age. Tributes at the demise of ex-President Pranab Mukherjee are carried across newspapers. Citizen Mukherjee no more, writes the Pioneer. A chapter ends, Pranab da gentleman for all seasons, writes the Indian Express. Allow easy visa to trusted Indians, Jaishankar tells US ahead of a crucial meeting of Foreign and Defence Ministers of India and the US, reports the Tribune. Only tuition fee can be charged during lockdown. Directorate of Education reissues order to Delhi schools, notes the Hindu. The order says an extra payment will have to be refunded or adjusted immediately. And finally, up ahead, more outside airflow, a warmer Delhi metro. The Indian Express writes as it prepares to begin operations from September 7th, Delhi Metro is looking to manage air circulation to allow more fresh air from outside and disperse any suspended viral particles.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Former President Pranab Mukherjee passes away, 7-day state mourning declared in his honour. Monsoon session of Parliament to commence from the 14th of this month. Unlock 4 guidelines for opening up more activities in COVID non-containment zones come into force today. JEE main exam for admission to top engineering colleges in the country begins today. Students appearing for JEE and NEET exams allowed to travel in special suburban trains in Mumbai. Third Sero survey to find out prevalence of antibodies against coronavirus starts today in national capital. And with that, we end the morning news.